Hey Switch 2 fans, Nintendo has officially spoken about the price of the Switch 2. Why is it so expensive? Why are the games so pricey? Well, one reason why, or at least we thought was why, was because of tariffs. Well, Nintendo's finally clarified. Let's see what Nintendo have to say, but before we do, please take the time to click like, subscribe, and click the bell icon. It really helps out a lot if you love Switch 2 news. Also, check the links down below in the video description for some really cool deals. Tech deals, you name it, Nintendo Switch 2 stuff, all the goodies are down there. So let's get into the article from The Verge. So Nintendo boss on Switch 2 and tariffs, they said that we are actively assessing what the impact may be. Nintendo of America President Doug Bowser, love his name by the way, explains why the console is currently priced at $449. And if you don't know, it's a lot cheaper in Japan. Even Shuhei Yoshida, the ex-president of PlayStation or Sony, basically said that he was surprised by how high the price was in the US and surprised by how cheap it is in Japan. Now, we might do some currency conversions here in a second and show you what the price difference is compared to Japan and the US, but let's get into the rest of the article. So, basically, in addition to the new console and lineup of games, Nintendo also revealed some sticker shock in the Switch 2 event last week. The console itself will cost $449.99, that's the console itself, not the bundle, which is a big jump over the original Switch, which debuted at $299.99, so $300 in 2017. Some have speculated that the price hike was at least partly due to ongoing confusion around President Donald Trump's planned tariffs, and the timing was certainly awkward. Trump announced a fresh, wide-ranging wave of global tariffs the same day as Nintendo's event. What bad luck, Nintendo. But Nintendo of America President Doug Bowser says the tariffs did not directly impact the console's original price tag. Putting the announcement aside, any previous tariffs were not factored into the price itself, he explained, speaking the day after the event. That may be true, but the impact of the April 2nd tariff announcement is already being felt. Just 2 days after the event, Nintendo announced that it was delaying Switch 2 pre-orders, which were originally slated to basically begin on April 9th. That's when we were expecting it. Now, if you've been wanting to get your hands on a Switch 2, I really highly recommend you check out our 24-hour Switch 2 stock tracker. We're going to be having a script up there that basically plays an alarm every time the Switch 2 comes into stock. You'll get all the up-to-date news on the right-hand side with the news scrolling thing, and you can come say hi in the chat because we've got a 24-hour chat as well, where you can ask questions, talk about Switch 2, talk about your feelings, your thoughts, and obviously what you're excited about. So come check it out, come hang out with us, and please hit the like when you do. It really helps the stream out, and it should be a fun place to hang out as we all count down to, well, June 5th. So let's get back into the news. So basically they've put the pre-orders on hold. We don't even know if this is going to affect their release date on June 5th, but right now, as far as I know, they're bringing in Switch 2s, or have brought in a fair amount of Switch 2s. But if anything, this overall might even make the Switch 2 really hard to get your hands on. We already know it's going to sell out really fast as soon as pre-orders open. We already know it's going to get scalped. We already know bots and scalpers are going to be going hard on this. And if Nintendo are pausing shipments to the US because of the tariff situation, that might even make the stock situation even worse. And we don't even know. We don't know if we're going to see a price increase above the $449. We might get a price release. We might have to wait for a delay. It might get delayed. The release might get delayed. Hopefully not just in the US. Hopefully it gets delayed worldwide. Just that way, so we're not left out here in the US. But whether the price of the console will be changed is unclear right now. The news is fresh, and like many companies right now, Nintendo says, or Doug Bowser says, we're actively assessing what the impact may be. So why is the Switch 2 so expensive? Bowser basically rattled off a list of the new console features: the bigger LCD screen. Well, it's not an OLED. The more powerful internals, the Joy-Con controllers have been enlarged and redesigned for durability, the game chat social layer built into the console, and more. He basically said, we want to make sure that this is a device that is approachable, well, at that price, that consumers will see as part of their overall entertainment experiences and will understand that it has longevity to it, Bowser says. And all those factors really go into the consideration of the price. Again, it's not just the console. The console itself is pretty darn pricey. I mean, the PS5 came out at like $500, right? The Switch 2, which, let's be honest, isn't as powerful as the base PS5, it's pretty damn close to that price point. Bear in mind, it does have a display built in, does have some cool social features, does come with the new Joy-Cons, which you can take off the controller and stuff like that. You know, I can see, but I don't know, it just still seems a bit pricey. And this is not factoring in the fact that games are going to cost $80 or $70 to $100. I mean, Mario Kart World, $80 sticker price, and that's for the digital version. When you factor in the physical version for Mario Kart World, we're talking $100, and that's probably not including tax even. So possibly more than $100 for Mario Kart World if you do want to get the physical version, which 90 to 100, I should say. But it's just crazy. And again, I've went on about this a lot. It just feels like the games don't justify the price, frankly. And they're also going to step further and sort of scamming us a little bit by doing this whole game key card business, where they're giving you the game, the physical game case, they're giving you a cart to put into your Switch too, and it's not even going to have the game on the cart. So let's say you pick this game up and you're out traveling and you don't have an internet connection or a Wi-Fi connection for your Switch 2, then you're more or less bummed because you have to put this empty game card in, the digital key card and then connect to the internet and then download your game, and that empty card has to be put in basically every time you want to play the game as well. So it just I don't know, it doesn't make any sense to me. Please make it make sense, Nintendo. I've got a question for you though in the comments section. If Nintendo do end up raising the price of the Switch 2, will beyond $450, $499 for the bundle, are you going to be still getting one? Are you going to be getting one? Are you planning on getting one now? Will you get one if they raise the price? Let me know down below in the comment section. Let's get into the article again. So the Switch 2's price tag also puts it in a premium spot in Nintendo's lineup. Even with the announcement of the new console, Nintendo will still be selling all three models of the original Switch, the base unit, the OLED version, and the Switch Lite for the foreseeable future. But Bowser gave an unclear response when asked if the existing Switch devices, which top out at $349.99, had an impact on the decision to charge $449 for the Switch 2. You want to consider pricing relative to the Switch, since we still have that in distribution, he says, but really the consideration was driven more by what is part of this particular gaming experience versus what it is relative to the Switch 1. That is surprising that the Switch really hasn't had many sales, frankly. I mean, it's old hardware now. 2017 was when it came out. Obviously, that's what, 5, 6, 7, 8, that's like 8 years ago. So really, they should, if anything, the Switch should be getting a price cut down to 200 or something, and then this should be going for 350, if you ask me. Now, I'm not a economics major, alright, but the console isn't the only part of the Switch lineup that's gotten more expensive. Select Switch 2 games have also received a price bump. For example, Mario Kart World will cost $79.99 when it comes out on June 5th, compared to the standard $59.99 for first-party games on the original Switch. That is a heck of a price increase. Don't get me wrong, Mario Kart World looks absolutely phenomenal. It really does. I like it. I want it. I want to play it at some point. But for damn near $100, is it even worth it? Somebody quipped about breaking out the emulation devices, or breaking out their old Game Boy, breaking out their original Switch, or their DS, or just emulating old Nintendo games at this point. You know, you're faced with a choice. Do I just continue playing Mario Kart or Smash Brothers or old Metroid games on older devices, or just emulating them? Or should I pay $90 for a new Mario Kart World? Essentially, you know, I do like the open world. It has that going for it. It's a whole new type of Mario Kart game. I think it looks pretty sick. I'm not going to lie. And the new features, the new social features look really good. I mean, not $90 to $100 good. So obviously Mario Kart World comes out on June 5th, if it doesn't get delayed because of tariffs. And yeah, speaking generally about deterring pricing for games, Bowser says that each game, we believe, is a unique experience, and thus prices can vary accordingly. Now, you would think, and I've said this before, you would think with game development becoming easier, right? We've got AI, we've got better development tools, better SDKs. You know, look at Unreal Engine. Look at Unity. I've seen people who haven't been able to design or haven't ever made a video game in their life, doesn't even know how to code. They've been able to make games because the tools have just gotten better and better over time. Obviously, we've got AI now. It's just getting easier and easier now to basically make games. So you would think with things getting easier, inflation would be, you know, that would offset the cost of inflation. It would offset the cost of a lot of things, and that's why I think video game pricing has been pretty consistent over the years. You know, games have got easier to make. That's offset the price of inflation, and everyone's been content with that. I feel like Nintendo are really testing the waters here in terms of pricing. I mean, people are, we were obviously speculating whether Grand Theft Auto 6, which is coming out later this year, is going to be $100. And, a lot of studios are still putting games out at 60, 70. And I was kind of hoping, okay, we might get away with getting, Grand Theft Auto for maybe 70, 80 bucks. But with Nintendo testing everyone here, this console and the games that come with it, Mario Kart World, will be a de facto basically decider on whether games across the industry go up or not. So if you want to stand by your morals, I would say don't buy this. But it's a Nintendo console. Nintendo know you're going to buy it. Nintendo know you're going to buy the bundle with Mario Kart World, because you don't want to pay $80 for the game. If you get the bundle, you get a game for $50, which is pretty reasonable. Maybe that's their plan all along, right? And I think Doug Bowser seems to say, as far as games are concerned, he basically says a lot of the games are very deep. They're very repeatable. And so we looked at the depth of play experience and opportunity. He's talking about Switch 2 Welcome to here. He says, that's another thing. Astro's Playroom for the PlayStation 5 was a free game. These sorts of games are like demo games, that basically allow you to learn more about the console, all the features the console has, and just get you to grips with the console. And then you bought the console for a hefty price. In this case, Switch 2, $450 to $500. There should be some sort of initial little free experience you could use just to basically dip your toes into what the Switch 2 can do, what it can offer you, and it should be a free experience. But they went ahead and charged for this. They've charged us money, for goodness sake. Doug Bowser says, as the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour was being developed, he basically says what's packed into it is a depth of mini game experiences. They're very deep, they're very repeatable, and so we looked at the depth of play experience and opportunity, and we felt $9.99 was a fair price to ask for that. If you're at I could go on a whole different video about this, but if you ask me, it should be free. I think this is a bad move on Nintendo's part. I mean, a lot of people are going to be getting Switch 2s for Christmas. They might not even get a game with their Switch 2, so having a little intro game included as part of that experience, I think would be a massive win. I'm hoping they backpedal on that. I think $10. I mean, you're already charging $450 for the console, which is a massive bump over the Switch 1. What's an extra $10, towards the software that you developed in-house as a first-party title? What kind of big difference is that really going to make? It's not going to make much of a big difference. They're still going to make a fortune. They're still going to be rich. It just feels like they're nickel and diming us. Anyways, that's my thoughts. Share yours in the comment section down below. I'd really appreciate it. Obviously, we're all excited for the Switch 2. I mean, I don't think there's anyone out there that isn't excited for it. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be awesome. I'm excited for the games. I'm excited to see the graphics on this thing, the new features. I love the mouse mode. But yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see. We're going to have to wait and see. But yeah, basically, tariffs are not the reason why it costs $450. Doug Bowser came out and said that. We might still get a price hike. We might not get a price hike. We might get the console might be delayed. Not just the pre-orders, but the console itself. The release date on June 5th might be delayed. Maybe only in the US. Maybe they hold it back across the world. Who knows? But it's a hell of a time to be alive. And I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Anyways, I'm Blaze2k. Check the links in the video description. Please hit like on this video. Subscribe. Click the bell icon. And I will see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.
Let's go.